Back with our breaking coverage of an unprecedented decision from the New York Times, publishing this anonymous firecracker op-ed from a current senior official in the Trump administration. MSNBC's Rachel Maddow was calling in earlier to our programming, our breaking coverage, to say this is now tonight a pivotal point in the Trump presidency.
I just feel like somebody is trying to pull the fire alarm, and I'm not sure that we know as a country how we are supposed to respond when an alarm like this is sounded. That's why today feels like the start of something, and or the end of something. This feels like a pivot point, because this is somebody inside the White House signaling to the outside world that there's a very, very serious problem.
A very serious problem, an alarm bell that many people have obviously been talking about, and not just Trump critics. His fellow Republican Party member, Senator Bob Corker, had this to say about the op-ed. This is just moments ago.
I didn't think that anything was relayed in that op-ed that was new. I mean, I think this is what all of us have understood to be the situation from day one. So, again, it's not very, it didn't reveal much to me. I understand this is the case.
I am joined by another man who probably understands the case, former RNC chair Michael Steele. Let's start rapid fire like a deposition.
Sure.
Number one, have you ever seen an op-ed like this when you've been in this town?
No.
Number two, do you believe it to be true?
Yes.
Number three, do you think the New York Times was right to publish it?
Yes.
And finally, number four, do you think this person was right to do it?
Yes. On all those counts. And what I find so stunning, and it's nice the way you ended that with Corker's comment, oh, we all knew this. Yeah, we've known this for a while. This is how it is. So if you see a neighbor's house on fire, should you not go and alert the neighbor that their house is on fire? If you have someone in your family who's ill, should you not, be concerned about how that illness is progressing? This idea that you know that there is a problem, and that when you are in a position as one of the co-equal branches of government to do something about it within the party structure itself or without the party, outside the party structure, I just find it stunning that you will have people say, yeah, we've known this all the time. So what does it say about your concern about where the country's going and how we're going to get to whatever that place is? So yeah, I think finally someone inside the administration said, this is enough. And I think what the precipitous moment was John McCain's funeral. I think McCain's funeral lit a fire in a way that is now maybe given some impetus, given a voice to some of these folks. Yes, this is anonymous, but this is a voice from a very secure location. All right?
Well, you're doing something very important. You're talking about the R word. The remedy.
The remedy.
And does the Congress look at something like this, or look at the very serious reported problems in the Woodward book and say, these are problems of national security, of military, of the nature of our economy? Do we hold hearings? Do we get people under oath? Do we work on a remedy or not? And that was the actually same word that our colleague Rachel Maddow was bearing down on. I want you to listen to this for your response. Also, again, just really moments ago when she called in.
I think that the curiosity about who this is the rightful province of the White House. I think that what the rest of us should be thinking about is what the constitutional remedy is to the kind of crisis that this anonymous author is alerting us to. I've never seen anything like this. I've never read about anything like this in U.S. history.
And she's absolutely right. So what is the remedy? But here's the politics of this. The remedy is hearings. Now, it's one thing if those hearings and investigation or concerns are elicited and expressed by Republicans. It's something different if Democrats win the House this fall and next year they do it, because it somehow will be less legitimate if they do it. It somehow will be less authentic if they do it, because it's stuck in this quagmire of politics. Republicans, who are the governing majority of this country, if they take the bull by the horn and they lead on this, and they, on the heels of McCain's words from the grave, if you will, on the heels of this op-ed, take to heart the warnings that are being placed out there and begin to inquire publicly about what is really going inside the White House, it will have a profoundly important impact on how we go forward.
The other remedy, which we were discussing at the top of the hour as some of our guests were debating how to do this, and the propriety even of this piece, which is, I admit, and then we've recovered, controversial, is the public resignations. And we haven't seen that in the same way with Trump. Our staff was looking at this with LBJ, for example, who had a very unpopular war. There was a health Education and Welfare Secretary John Gardner. He resigned, saying he couldn't support Vietnam. He privately told the president he wouldn't even support him for re-election.
Right.
That was a person
Right.
who stood up. The Nixon Watergate example is often brought up, but that was about criminality.
Right.
The Vietnam example is important because it relates to people who say even if Donald Trump didn't commit a crime in office, which is under investigation, there are some things so amoral, and this essay calls him amoral, that you stand up and publicly resign. Do you think that should be done more?
No, I think there's a big difference between the LBJ analogy and here. LBJ, that was about a war. It was about a singular decision, a singular act, a singular moment in time. This is about something beyond policy. This is about the way the president is governing, how the president is governing. And so here these folks are in a dilemma, trying to decide, and I've thought about this because it made no sense. The natural inclination is get the hell out of Dodge. This is crazy. I can't do Crazy Town anymore, right?
You have your passport on you, right?
I do. Yeah. Baby, look, I'm ready. I'm there. I'm gone, right?
You know, in the old days of Washington, everyone carried around their Constitution.
Right.
Now people just keep the passport.
Let's keep the passport.
Go back.
But
Michael, keep it together. This is a serious broadcast.
No, but here's the rub. That thinking now is shifted to, I got to stay here to hold on to this desk and hold on to these walls to keep this thing together, because this is about something bigger than a single policy.
So we've talked about the remedy, we've talked about the proper reaction, and we've talked about the person and persons implicated in this piece that are putting up what is this historic alarm bell. The other big question hanging over this is, where's the New York Times, which Donald Trump was just attacking by name? Where do they figure into the decision they made? And so it would be interesting to talk to someone from that experience. And guess what? We're going to do that right now. You stay right here with me. This is how you know it's breaking real-time coverage, because Michael Seal's bobbing and weaving. Stay with me. New York Times explained the decision to publish the piece, and I want to read this to you. They said they're taking this rare step to publish the essay by a senior official whose job would literally be jeopardized by its disclosure. And as I mentioned, the former executive editor of that very paper, Howell Raines, joins me now. Howell, thank you for jumping on the phone on Breaking Coverage. Michael Steele's still with me. The question to you, simply off the top, have you ever seen anything like this? Are you confident the New York Times has the real deal and a senior official? And do you agree with the decision?
I've never seen anything like this in the history of the Times. Based on my 25 years inside the institution and my personal knowledge of the men who made this decision, I'm confident the Times has done the right thing. It all hinges on the senior official designation. I don't think James Bennett or his publisher, A.G. Sulzberger, would have gambled on that. And I believe that in their place, I would have made the same decision. And let me elaborate on that a little bit. This is unprecedented on the part of the Times, but we are at a time that calls for leading journalistic institutions to step into the future and figure out new approaches to deal with what is frankly a time of crisis. We have an
Let me jump in on that point, Howell, and ask you, when you say new approaches, in your view, given your knowledge of the paper in Washington, do you think it's possible that this highly controversial move could be more effective than the traditional resignation?